The door was unlocked, coffee still warm on the counter. She fought her killer. The evidence proved it. For 24 years, no one knew his name. The Midnight Paradigm. At the Midnight Paradigm, we re-examine what was missed. Leslie Prieur was trusted. Her killer was trusted more. Leslie Prieur was 49, warm, reliable, never late. Her daughter Lauren, her husband Sandy, her world. At 10:15, her boss noticed the silence. Leslie never missed work, never without calling first. Sandy rushed home. The front door was already open. Blood in the foyer, on the walls, on the appliances. She was found in the master bathroom. The investigation began. Blunt force trauma, strangulation, cause of death confirmed. She fought. The medical examiner found DNA under her fingernails. He had been on family vacations with the Prieurs. The DNA wasn't Sandy's. Investigators noted it, moved on. Sandy failed the polygraph. Suspicion gathered around him. His DNA didn't match. The evidence was clear. The real killer was someone entirely different, unknown. In 2001, the science didn't exist, but here's what did. According to the police report filed May 2, 2001, the case was one of Montgomery County's most baffling. We cannot know what happened inside that home at dawn. But the forensic evidence tells part of the story. She fought. That much is established by the court record. The killer's DNA survived in storage for 21 years. And somewhere in that neighborhood, he watched the Prieurs grieve. Lauren grieved. Sandy grieved. A community suspected the wrong man. This is where the investigation failed, not from malice. From confirmation bias, they had a suspect, they stopped looking. Sandy Prieur cooperated with everything investigators asked. He gave DNA samples voluntarily. They cleared him. But polygraph results made him the community's primary suspect. Sandy's polygraph failed. The record notes anxiety and stress. Research on bereavement tells us grief mimics deception. Polygraphs measure stress. Sandy had just lost his wife. Polygraphs aren't evidence. No court accepts them as fact. Yet community suspicion follows its own rules. For years, Sandy lived under the weight of suspicion. While Sandy carried that stigma, where was the real killer? Lauren Prieur grew up without her mother. She moved on. She and her ex had broken up before the murder. By May 2001, Lauren hadn't spoken to Gligor in years. His name appeared in the original case file, just once. Sandy Prieur died in 2017. He never knew the truth. He died carrying the suspicion of his community with him. Lauren carried this alone. Her father gone, her mother gone. The evidence bag in Montgomery County storage did not change. The DNA waited. The science would eventually come. The years passed. The case file gathered dust. Whispers continued. Then in September 2022, Detective Tara Augustin reviewed the file. Montgomery County Police contacted Othram in Texas. Othram specializes in finding DNA when nothing else can. Their forensic-grade genome sequencing existed only in theory in 2001. The evidence had been there for 21 years. Now what? Othram scientists extracted a full DNA profile from 21-year-old evidence. This was not routine DNA testing. This was genome sequencing. The profile needed a name. This is where genealogy begins. genetic genealogy databases, contain millions of voluntarily submitted profiles. No warrant required for public genealogy databases. The highest match pointed to a family line in Romania. A first cousin twice removed on another continent. Detective Augustin searched public records. She found the name. Gligor, an unusual surname. She had seen it before. The original case file, page 47, there it was. Lauren's ex from high school, already in the case file. He had been interviewed in 2001, dismissed without evidence. Now they needed evidence before they could move. Why not simply ask him for a DNA sample? Without confirming evidence, any approach would compromise the case. They needed him to surrender DNA without knowing it. Othram had sequenced a 21-year-old DNA profile. It was comprehensive. A genetic genealogy search began, public databases, open access. Your DNA relatives share your biological markers. A first cousin twice removed shared enough markers. Detective Augustin built the family tree, branch by branch. She traced the Romanian line back to Washington, D.C. A name appeared, already in the original case file. Eugene Gligor, former boyfriend of Lauren Prier. A man the family trusted, inside their home for years. The detective called this moment history-making for Montgomery County. Knowing his name wasn't enough. They needed confirmed DNA. They needed him to give the sample himself, unknowing. Dulles International Airport, June 2024, a secondary screening. Customs officials were briefed. They waited for one specific moment. He arrived at Dulles. He entered secondary screening as planned. He took the water, he drank, he set it down. Customs officials collected the discarded bottle, sealed it as evidence. The DNA from the bottle was processed within a week. A match DNA from her fingernails, the water bottle. He discarded the bottle, 24 years of freedom gone. The arrest warrant was executed on June 21, 2024. The U.S. Marshals Task Force arrested Gligor in Washington, D.C. 23 years after Leslie's murder, finally in custody. The interrogation followed, Detective Augustin and her partner present. He denied everything, measured, his eyes were dry. Lauren Prier heard the name, said, absolutely unreal. He dated Lauren for 5 years. He knew that family. He had eaten at Leslie's table, been welcomed as family. Lauren told CBS News she never suspected him, not once. Her mother liked him, Sandy liked him, he was trusted. Family trust, the most effective camouflage a predator can wear. In the interrogation room, Detective Augustin asked about the murder. Gligor claimed blackouts, drug and alcohol use at the time. He invoked his right to counsel. The interrogation ended. The DNA didn't need his cooperation. It had spoken. The prosecution's case, DNA under Leslie's fingernails, water bottle match. No counter-theory adequately explained the DNA match. On May 8, 2025, Eugene Gligor pleaded guilty. 24 years after he killed Leslie Prier, the anniversary week. The sentencing hearing, August 28, 2025, Montgomery County Circuit Court. Lauren Prier faced the man who killed her mother. Gligor told the court he experienced blackouts at the time. The court record notes his statement, unresolved. Judge David Lease sentenced Gligor to 22 years in prison, plus 5 years of supervised probation upon release. The prosecutors called this case history-making for forensic genealogy. Lauren called the arrest unreal, years of not knowing. Her father Sandy carried this wrongly. He died without vindication. August 28, 2025, Judge Lease faced Eugene Gligor. 22 years in prison, the sentence delivered. Lauren Prier was present. She watched. She witnessed the sentence. Here at the Midnight Paradigm, the record shows this. Her father died in 2017, still under suspicion. Sandy never knew. His name is clear now. This case raises a question not easily answered. How many families carry unsolved cases tonight? The FBI estimates 250. 0 unsolved murders since 1980. Forensic genetic genealogy has solved hundreds in its first decade. The same technology that found D'Angelo found Gligor. Same science, public database, genetic family tree, time. But the ethical questions are significant and worth examining honestly. You consent for yourself when you submit DNA. But your DNA implicates relatives without their consent. In the Prier case, this technology delivered justice. The question, are we comfortable with the precedent? 14 states have now adopted formal policies governing forensic genealogy. The debate is happening in legislatures right now. For Lauren, technology meant her mother's killer was convicted. Sandy died before his wife's killer was named. The investigation failed Sandy Prier. That failure was systemic. Confirmation bias, identifying a suspect, then filtering evidence to confirm. The polygraph failure was treated as confirmation, not data. The real killer was in the file, set aside. The Innocence Project documents this pattern in case after case. Sandy's case, community suspicion without conviction. The harm was real. Life under suspicion was real. Leslie Prier's evidence waited 21 years. It didn't give up. Your theories on this case belong in the comments. The Midnight Paradigm returns. More cases, more questions.